Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKissick and Dana Gentry.
Okay, guys, so we'll start by doing what we always do, which is type something that you're grateful for in the chat. And so we can go actually first. I've been grateful for this trip, man.
Yes.
We are at the Greenbrier in West Virginia, and we, believe it or not, us two have been fishing, fly fishing for the last 2 days, and it's been interesting, but actually we were pretty good fishers.
We really are. I think we beat the guys, and we can be still and quiet for pretty long periods of time. I think by the end of the second day we were pretty chatty, but we didn't scare all the fish away, so that's the good news.
That is the good news. Yes, that is very good news. Okay, Monica is grateful for a successful client event on Saturday. Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's great. Oh, Katie, I didn't even know that. So glad you said that. Barb, Barb Gale.
Yeah.
Knee replacement surgery yesterday.
Oh,
No
wow.
clue. Wow. Okay. Oh, there's Amy. Perfect. Grateful for books. Yeah, we'll have to reach out to Barb. Getting to spend time, Tracy, with my Navy son's family. Oh, that's great. Oh, newest granddaughter.
Yay.
Oh, congratulations. That is awesome. Oh, Sam, I am jealous. Robert Madu was at your church. Ah, super jealous, man. I love Robert Madu. You'll have to share your notes on that. So as you guys keep going, look at all these fun pictures I found
that's
to
great.
announce you. Okay, so for those of you that don't know Linda, I was like, where do I start? Man, she is the queen of passive income. She's a real estate franchise owner.
I should have written it for you.
I know.
Dadgummit. Okay.
I know. We'll do that next time. She's an author. She's a speaker. She's a mom. She's a friend. She's a wife. And she's a Mimi.
And a fisherwoman.
And now a fisherwoman. That's why I added that one on there. Yes. And so I was just really anxious to get Linda to be able to. Oh, Stephanie Kellerman. I'm thankful for Linda and all that she does for us. Yes.
Sweet.
Me too. So I wanted to me not talk today and have you guys hear from Linda and just have her answer a couple questions. So let's talk first about what mindset means to you and why it's important.
Okay. Well, I think mindset is your attitude, and it could be your attitude about what's going on in your life right now. It could be attitude about what you do for a living, but it's kind of how you think about something.
Yep.
And I think it's kind of the launching pad for how everything else goes.
So why do you think it's important?
Well, because I think what you're thinking starts kind of catapults you in a direction. So if I've got really crappy thinking, then I'm probably not going to find the great opportunities in the day, or I'm going to not, see things through a good lens. I'm going to actually have a tainted lens.
Yep.
So I think it kind of sets the foundation for the activities you do, how you treat other people, just how you feel totally for the day, and what your thinking is. And I think our thinking controls everything else that we either achieve or don't achieve.
Yeah. So will you go back and just start a little bit and tell them kind of your background, just how you grew up, and then,
Sure.
Because I think that has a lot to do with mindset.
That's so funny. Well, it's real funny because we're up here is this the hills or a mountain?
Mountains.
We're in the mountains of West Virginia. Sorry, I did not do well in geography or history either, or whatever.
And I didn't in biology, clearly.
Obviously, she did not know biology about fish.
We'll tell you all that story later.
So, but I grew up a lot like what I see around here. I mean, I literally grew up, James and I talked about this because we have very similar backgrounds. James was our fishing guide, and he's been doing this. He started the Greenbrier probably 40-something years ago. He's an amazing guy. He's Gary Keller's right arm up here with guiding and all of his stuff up here. And he's just an amazing man. It's worth the fishing trip just to meet James. Mm-hmm. And, we grew up similar in houses that, his didn't even have running water. I think we at least had running water, but we had a potbelly stove to get warm. We had an outhouse. There was no indoor plumbing. And I remember one time they wrote an article on our house. It was 100-year-old house. And,
wow.
That's cool for a lot of people, but
not when you're living in it.
Not when you're living in it. And all the friends are going to see that you live in this old crappy house, which they kind of knew it probably anyway when the bus drove by. But so, I grew up very, but when you're a kid, you don't really know,
Mm-hmm.
you don't really understand. We didn't get food stamps back then. We got commodities. So James and I were talking about sometimes starting like that. I think it does a lot of things for you. Number one, it builds character of nothing is really that bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think when I see people, and especially even, even some of my own family members, when they grow up and they have plenty and they've never had to really worry about what you're going to have or what you don't have, I think they tend to be afraid of what they're going to lose.
Yeah.
And I've never been afraid of what I'm going to lose. Now, don't get me wrong, I've had some fearful moments, but I've never been totally afraid because I've been there before and I've got here. So I feel like I can do it again. So yeah, dysfunctional family, both alcoholics, just a lot of really honestly worry and fear as a child. If I had to say, what's the words I remember, it's worry and fear. So maybe that's what drives me today. I don't know.
But how did that affect your mindset, do you think? Because I feel like you don't have that mindset now.
What's interesting is there's 5 of us and every one of us took a different attitude about that. So that's a great question because I've never really thought about it like that, but I don't know where it came from, but I just I'm sure I had some terrible attitudes and moments growing up like that, but I just saw that if I saw a glimmer of hope, I think attitudes have to do with your hope. How much hope do you have about the future or about the day or about your opportunities or your life? And I think I saw enough people, like I had a half brother that lived in a beautiful home, and you'd go, I got to go there once and sleep in his bed that was so comfortable and the sheets were so nice. That's why I have nice sheets now. That's why I have nice sheets everywhere now. But I think if you can see a little glimmer of hope of something different, and that's why I like to hang out with people who've achieved more and have different things, because they inspire me and give me hope, and it's not always even about material things. If it's a person that's a great mother, a godly woman or something, I aspire to be that. So I think that's why we hang out with each other and we do certain things with certain people, because they inspire you to be better wife, better mother, better realtor, better whatever it is. Yeah.
So, okay, how do you specifically keep a good mindset just on a regular daily basis, like some of the things you do? And then what about when you're in like a season of difficulty? Because we all have those.
Okay. So first of all, never expect yourself to have 100% great attitude all the time. Because if you do that, if you look at anybody else, myself included, and you think, oh, well, she always has a great attitude, that's it. No, it's kind of like Gary's counterbalance. It's crappy attitude. How do I get myself out of that? How do I get back to a good attitude? I don't think it's a constant great attitude. I think we have moments, and I kind of thought about this because I knew we were going to talk about it today. And I think sometimes our attitudes come from different things. Our fears, like, my biggest fear, and I can even think of an example this week where my mind went to, something that wasn't true. In other words, in my mind, if I had kept it, there's a lady named Katie Byron, and she writes these books called Is It True? I don't know what her books are called, but it's like, she'll tell you to ask, is that true? Is that really, really true? Because a lot of times, let's say, for example, someone told me something and I'm fine about it. And then someone else says, well, do you think what if they were just telling you that? And then your mind starts thinking, oh, what if they were, and for me,
pretty sure we've all done that.
So, but that's a choice I have.
Yep.
And what's interesting is when the week played out, it wasn't true. So I could have spent the whole week going, okay, he just told me that he doesn't like me, or whatever, or he treats me different than he would treat anybody else. So, you have to say, is that really true?
Yeah.
Do I have evidence? Because if I don't have evidence, I'm letting my mind decide something that's probably not even true. 99% of what I first think probably isn't true. And I think if you get that, like, you might be coming from, if you're a high social, you might be, well, they don't like me. And so that drives your thinking. Mine is being taken advantage of because I'm a high D. So I have to really say, what if that's not true? So I think whatever you're driven by, if it's, I think those people don't like me. Is that really true? Do you really know that? And I learned a long time ago, what other people think about you is really none of your business.
That's so good.
And so it might be hurtful in the second, but at the end of the day, does that really have anything to do with my life and where I'm going? Or does that really say more something about that person?
Yep. Love that. Okay. What about, like through a season of difficulty? I mean, you've had some, we all have.
Yeah.
So how have you, because you've been there for other people specifically, I think of probably Andrew and
Oh, God.
and that was a season of difficulty. And then, but you had to be there for Bailey and your family. So
Yeah.
like, how do you keep your mindset during a difficult time?
I'm glad you brought that up because I probably wouldn't use that example. But I'm going to tell you that was probably one of the
Or
most.
if you have another example.
No, that's one of the most difficult examples, and I tell you why. Because it's most difficult when you don't know you can't get out of it.
Right.
You know, most difficult situations. If I'm in a difficult relationship, I can end that. That's
Mm-hmm.
no problem. I'm out.
Yeah.
You know, I may get beat up a little bit first, but I'm going out of that relationship.
Right.
I am not staying in it. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
But with this one, there was no way out.
Right.
Matter of fact, I remember one time Andrew called me.
Andrew was Linda's son-in-law who unfortunately passed away of cancer.
Yeah, at 20, he was 29 when he got it. He passed away at 30. And I remember leaving there because they were 6 hours away from us, and we would go there because you got to just be in the middle of that. And we spent almost everything but about 3.5 weeks there with them, 6 hours for them. By the way, we couldn't have done that without passive income.
Mm-hmm.
But one time I remember leaving because you sometimes just needed to get out of it. It was so heavy and so hard. And I remember Andrew called me and he said, I don't think you want to be here. And it really hurt me because I said to him, I just said, honestly, Andrew, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Today, when we left, I didn't want to be there because I can't fix it.
Yeah.
I cannot do anything about it. And that is the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a good thing to talk about though, because that there is a difference between you have a difficult season that you can fix and you can get out of, and then one that really you can't. I mean, those are two totally different things, and we all have those. And if we haven't, and I've told them, Linda, so many times how you talk about life's unexpecteds.
Yeah.
And usually life's unexpecteds are the times that you can't get out of for the most part.
At least for a while. You know, so what did I do during that season? I ran.
Yeah.
I mean, I ran even more because running is my escape. I remember thoughts I had.
Physically running,
physically in his neighborhood when I would just get out of the situation and go run because it was painful to watch. It's all very, lung cancer for someone that didn't even smoke. That's a horrible way for someone to die. So it was just hard to watch. So you needed your escapes. And to be honest with you, I'd have to leave sometimes. I'd have to get myself out of it to rejuvenate myself to go back in.
Yeah. I know you are very learning based, like super correct. We say all the time, like crazy learning based. I think if we could do anything all day, we would just go and
somebody would pay me for that.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about that with your mindset. I mean, obviously like we've been taught, John Maxwell says, when you stop growing, you die.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you think being learning based plays into your mindset?
Well, first of all, if I had not been learning based, well, any of us, think about some friends you're around from high school and they haven't been learning based, and you realize how far ahead or behind they are because every book I read is added to me. Every person I've met who I've known has added value to me. They've helped mold the person that I've become. And without all the learning, imagine what kind of thinking I grew up with in that kind of situation. So there was my foundation. It was books and people and trainers and teachers and classes and every mentor or whatever along the way that got me here.
Yeah.
So I think you need that because each little piece adds a little part to who you become.
Yeah. Before we go, we did have a question, and actually maybe two. Let's see. Oh, I love what Dawn said. You put it in, God pulls it out.
Oh, love it.
That's great. Yeah. So Curtis said, do you have any specific actions that can help change your mindset when you're in a rut? And that's kind of different.
It is. But you know what? We used to have a business psychotherapist, and he was really good about helping us figure out, systems. So one of the things he would do is, a lot of times the person closest to you can't do it. So we would kind of have a buddy. And what we would do is, let's say, for example, if Jimmy was in a rut, then my go-to person was Gary Ubaldini. And I would call Gary and say, hey, will you call Jimmy?
Oh, that's a smart thing.
So have somebody.
Jimmy's her husband.
Yeah, Jimmy's my husband. So instead of me trying to pull Jimmy out of the rut, then he would have Gary. And so you can have a person. But for me, it depends on the rut. But I think, if you can reach out your hand to someone else and I've heard this, you've probably heard this a million times, but just try it. Like, let's say, for example, you're in a rut today. Why don't you pick up the phone and call another realtor and say, hey, I appreciate you. We did a deal not too long ago. You're amazing. Think you're awesome. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate your responsiveness or whatever. You know, is there anything I can help you with? You know, I'd love to, or I just went to this class, or I just listened to this thing on mindset and I had some great notes. If you wouldn't be offended, I'd be happy to share those with you. Putting the focus out sometimes takes it off yourself.
Totally.
And you know, whatever other mechanisms, for me, running helps. You know, how long has this been going on? Who else can talk me through this? How have I gotten through it before?
And John Maxwell always says, identify what got you in the rut. Like if you can figure out what got you there.
Yeah. Like if you're doing something on a regular basis you don't love doing, you're going to stay in that rut as long as you keep doing that. That's might have little highs, but go figure out, how do I get from where I'm at doing things I absolutely hate a majority of the time to something I would love that would give me energy and change my whole attitude. So it depends. You're exactly right. What got you there in the first place? Is it your thinking? And is that really even accurate? Is it true? Or are you just making it up? You know, doing an exercise that we do in Strategic Coach is awesome. It's always painful for me to do exercises, but I always feel better after we do them. But if you sit and think about what great achievements have I had over the past 90 days? And then right now in this moment, what's given me momentum?
Oh, I love that worksheet. Yeah. And in the future.
And then what do I have looking forward to in the future? A lot of times there's a lot more there, but it's kind of buried under everything else. It's kind of stuck.
I love that. We might be able to kind of share a version of that sheet. Okay. So that actually takes us into the next question. What do you believe is the different mindset between people who are wealthy and millionaires versus those who aren't? And then I would like for us to talk about just when, like Rhonda's sitting here, you can't see her right now, but Rhonda Smith's here too with us. I said, today we have a studio audience. But we were talking yesterday and we were saying, I used to get so, this is going to sound kind of mean, but not frustrated, but you know, when you're sitting down with another agent or with another person and they say, oh, I make enough money, I don't need any more money. And I would always kind of be like, oh, really? I mean, because money is good for the good that it can do. And we were sharing an example yesterday. We are here in West Virginia. Actually, you share that about.
Well, we're here in West Virginia, and in 2016, they had a massive flood. And Gary Keller has a house here, and the area was devastated. And so we have no Keller Williams up here, but we sent our KW big semi truck full of products, and you know, our people came to help, and Virginia region came over and helped. And Gary just put lots of energy and money and resources into a community. And he could not have done that had he not never said, I got enough.
Yeah. I mean, he made a huge impact here. So what do you think is the difference between the mindset and that?
Abundance and scarcity.
Oh, good.
If people come from abundance, meaning I'm not worried that what you have, you know, that what you have has nothing to do. I'm happy for you. And that should propel me, if I like what you have, to say, hey, wow, that's kind of cool that she does that and she's able to do that and she can do that. So I think abundance and scarcity. When people come from scarcity, they hoard, and I don't think the world gives you more when you hoard, or you know, what does he say? Be a river, not a reservoir. Like that.
But also he always says that thing about when you're holding on to something or you have scarcity, your hands are closed so you can't receive. But when you have abundance and your hands are open, like your hands are open because you're giving, but they're also open for you to receive.
So I think if you catch yourself in scarcity, you just have to say, okay, how do I get it to abundance? So I think the biggest difference is abundance and scarcity.
Okay. Yeah, that's really great. And what do you think about well, maybe just to go a little bit deeper on that, what would you say if somebody, like, their natural tendency is to think scarcity mindset?
Well, I think we all have a little bit of it. So I don't think anybody is, oh, well, easy for you. You're just abundant mindset. No, that's not true.
Right.
And even, you know, I always hate it when people, like on the KPA and stuff, and that was an assessment that we have, people think that the optimist person is a better person, and
pessimist is wrong, or
whatever. It's not pessimist, but I don't know what the other one is.
I can't think of it.
But the truth is that's not true.
Right.
The truth is one never really sees what could be happening or coming, and the other one is always kind of saying, that's great, but what this might happen. So they're more sometimes a realist or whatever. So I think what was the question again?
I forgot. Oh gosh.
It's been a week.
It has.
Fishing is hard work. We're tired.
The millionaire versus not millionaire. Yes. And it's skepticism, optimism versus
Oh, yeah,
skepticism.
yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Jay. Yeah.
That didn't help.
Oh my goodness. This is like a podcast episode gone wrong.
I mean, this is really what y'all see before the recorder comes on the podcast.
That's right.
That's why we don't do live.
That's funny.
Okay, well, I don't remember the question, but anyway, we'll just go with it. So,
anything else on millionaire mindsets versus non-millionaire mindset?
Well, I think it's a focus. Mindset is not, I don't know that I had a millionaire mindset. I somewhere along the line, through whatever reason, gradually and suddenly, I think that happened in my life,
Yep.
decided that I needed to have a mindset of well, and I think a little bit is the abundant. I don't think it's scarcity, and I don't ask myself the question is, when is enough enough?
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you just
that's a great point. Share what Gary told you when you emailed him about that. Remember?
Yeah. So I used to really get frustrated because I didn't understand why people would say, well, I'm just happy where I'm at. I got enough or whatever. And that, like Dana, that kind of was like, I don't really understand that and it's not about the things, but I don't understand not always achieving.
Right.
I mean, why not always want to see what's over the ridge?
Well, because people would say to you, well, Linda, you've already achieved it all. Why are you still working? Why are you still doing this?
Yeah. And a lot of times it's family. So I emailed him and I said, look, I'm struggling. I know there's got to be an answer to this, but I'm so close to it, I can't see it. And he emailed me back. He said, you know what, Linda, life is about becoming. And the way we become is we get up every day and we try to achieve more. Sports teams don't win one championship and quit. They go back out on the field and they work harder and they see who else they can become.
Yeah.
So I love that because when I really think about it, all the things we're talking about today is who you're going to become. And if you decide that, you don't need more, that's bad to even think about continuing to achieve. Because if you give enough value to the world, you can't keep the money away. I say that all the time.
Yeah.
But if you just say, okay, well, I'm just after this number, then everything else that you could get from it just goes away and it's only about the number. And so I think you just have to say, I don't want to get, and there's some kind of story that I heard years ago about somebody getting to heaven and the angel was taking him around and he sees this huge building and the building is like huge. Everywhere he goes, he sees a corner of the building and he goes, what's in that building? And he goes, you don't want to know. And it's like, no, I got to know what's in the building. I'll give you the short version. So eventually the guy says, well, what's in that building is all the blessings that were meant for you
that you didn't ask for,
you didn't take advantage of. So that's kind of the way I see it. If I don't get up and keep trying to achieve more, then I'm not going to become whoever I could actually eventually become. I have become who I am today from all the achieving I've worked at and tried all the years, all the many years, 30 something years in the real estate business.
And sometimes people don't even see that. They think that it was like a, one thing that you achieved profit share and that made you like, it's all the things and all the years of the work. I think a lot of people forget that.
And getting up every day and saying, I wonder what I could achieve or how big can I get this to be. And the limitations are always with myself. If my business is only this size, it's because I haven't learned to master people yet. Once I learn to master people, then the business will get bigger. And so a lot of people don't want to do that because they don't, maybe they get stumped on the headache of trying different things with their business. But the truth is the real value is going through that issue and that hard thing, because on the other side is a new you.
Talk about the 50-yard line, because we've asked a lot about that.
So years ago, when I was going up to Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky, I had this amazing real estate business that was doing 200 transactions a year back when 200 transactions a year put me number one in Keller Williams Realty. Yeah. And it was really, everything was working fine. And all of a sudden I started not being, I needed something different. I wasn't challenged. I got sick of just new wallpaper, new color carpet. And so I mentioned to Gary, because he was my coach at the time. And so he recommended that I now take advantage of the last region that was available. So that meant I had to get on a plane, go to Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, and talk to everyone about trying to do Keller Williams franchises back when no one knew who Keller Williams was. It was really hard. I had no clue what I was doing. I'm sure there are moments when Gary thought, Lord, she's never going to get that done. And so I would get up and I would do it really, I'm very tenacious. And I think maybe he knew that. So I would get up and I would keep trying. But there was times when I really felt like quitting. I mean, I really did. And I'm not a quitter. I just don't like to quit. So I called one of my friends who is, when you're in leadership, you can't call everybody and say, I'm having a really bad attitude or day to day. You just can't do it. You can only call a few people. So I called Joe Harker because he was over in the Heartland region doing the same thing I was. And I said, Joe, I don't know, maybe I've made a mistake. Maybe because I don't want to let people down.
Right.
And so my thinking of quitting was, I'm letting my family down. I'm leaving them on a regular basis to come do this. I'm letting Gary Keller down. I'm letting Mel Anderson down. I don't want to let people down. Maybe maybe I just can't do this, because at 3 years, it took me 3 years to get my first market center. So I said to him, I said, I don't know. I think maybe I've made a mistake because maybe I can't do this. And he said to me, Linda, you can't quit. Because you don't know if you're on the 50-yard line or the 5. And that little bit of speaking into me gave me such inspiration. I'm like, you're right. I think I'm on the 5. And I went right back out there. And I'm so glad I did, because now we have 28 market centers in a region, and we changed so many lives.
A lot of people on this call are really glad you did too. Yeah. Well, myself included.
And we changed lives, and we made great friends and great relationships that I would have never had to get chill bumps thinking about it.
Yeah, totally.
So you just gotta know that bad attitudes come, but they also go.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, we got one question from David. How do you recommend taking an abundance mindset, but then practically turning it into a profitable or successful outcome? If you're already abundant, how would you take that and turn it into having a profitable outcome in your life?
Well, I think you have to include more people. And I think this is the part that stops a lot of people. Yeah. And myself included almost, many times, and probably you too.
Yep.
I mean, I've had calls from you when you're like, remind me why I do this again. Why do we have to have all these people, that I have to try to figure out how to work through and with and all that stuff. And I've certainly been there myself. Yep. So I think the difference between, I think you can get to a certain level by yourself. And I'm a real good solo achiever. Man, I can get a lot done. But at some point, to get in a really big and abundant life, you have to switch and say, I've got to now start doing it through other people. And that's where it's hard and frustrating and all those things. But you just got to keep working at it. And most of the time I go, okay, what do I still not know? Or, what have I done wrong? And, how did I handle that? And could I have handled it differently? And you're going to keep making mistakes. But if you're in deep enough relationship with people, they're going to forgive you and let you go try again. Thank God. Thank y'all. But anyway, so I think true big abundance is going to, and success is going to be with those people and through those. And by the way, not around them. There's a lot of people that succeed at a high level with people work and all these little worker bees, but they're doing it around them. When you do it through people, it's a lot harder because you got to take them with you, and their lives have to get big also. Yours can't be the only one.
Man, and that takes a lot of practice.
It takes a lot of, and a lot of inner inspection of, where am I sucking at this and how can I get better at this?
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.